Anywho, so I'm doing a little meal prep. Tired, really tired, getting ready to set my second cup of coffee down as soon as I drink the last of this one. So, mostly I think I'm going to talk about meal prep and staying ahead of the game and that kind of shit. Michael and I's biggest conflicts, most likely to fights, are over food. More specifically, what do you want for dinner? Biggest fights, biggest conflicts, most likely to have a meltdown from one of us. What do you want for dinner? I don't know, what do you want? I don't know, what do you want? I try to stay ahead of the game. I do. And quite frequently I succeed for months at a time. Sometimes I succeed for a week at a time. And sometimes we get into a nasty cycle that takes months to get out of. The reasonings... Okay. We're both on the autism spectrum. Him more obviously than me, but we both are. We both have serious food insecurity issues. They're different issues, and they don't play well together. When I say this is a serious point of conflict for us, sometimes it is a very serious point of conflict. What do you want for dinner? Is fighting words some days. Okay? Because if you know what you want for dinner, just go in and cook it. One of the problems, having been raised as an only child, Michael, how to put it? Okay, so I'm doing multiple things. I'm going to heat up lunch. This is some leftover beans and cheese. It's going to go into a container that can go into the oven. Now I find out if there's dishes in here, and there are. So do you keep your dirty dishes in the oven or your clean dishes in the oven? Because people do both. We tend to have dirty dishes in the oven because I needed counter space and I just moved them down. Yeah, that'll work. Michael is an only child, has a psychological need that it's his. He needs to have things that are his and his alone. The boy don't like to share. This means the easiest way to turn something into Michael's favorite food of the week is to tell him you don't like it. Because if you don't like it, then he doesn't have to share it. It took me a very long time to figure that out. If you like it a lot, he doesn't like it that much, because he might have to share. Now, I'm not saying that's a deliberate, conscious thing. This is just the way his brain works. Now me, I'm a compulsive sharer. Oh, you like that better than me? Here, have it. No, I don't need any, I'm full. Mind you, I'm not full. Chances are I haven't eaten anything at all. My stomach might be actively growling. You like that better than me? Oh, it's yours. No, don't worry about it. Compulsive. So you would think my liking something would cause him to like something, but it doesn't. So when you say, what do you want for dinner? I honestly want to make what he wants for dinner. That is a huge compulsion to me. I want to make the other person happy. When you say, what do you want for dinner? He wants to figure out what I want for dinner. Not what he wants for dinner, what I want for dinner. So he will start making suggestions based on what he thinks I want. Like the last 4 food items I suggested, or I talked about. Well, you know, earlier today you mentioned hot dogs, so let's have hot dogs! We don't have any hot dogs in the fridge, honey. That's why I mentioned it. I put it on the shopping list. Oh, I can go out and go get hot dogs. No, honey. We're talking about dinner right now. And it goes on and on. I have some squash that I prepped the other day that I'm going to mash, put some brown sugar, butter, you know the routines, maybe some marshmallows on top, and prep it as ready to go into the oven, and then put it back in the refrigerator. Okay. You will work. We have glass pans and we have metal pans, and I don't like taking glass out of the refrigerator and putting it into the oven. I have just too many traumatic experiences with it blowing up. Anyway, for us, and what do you want for dinner? For other people, and what do you want for dinner? It's traumatic. And I don't think society, I mean, we make jokes about it, there's memes about it, but I don't think society really processes that different people have different food traumas, that even people you wouldn't think of as having food traumas probably have food traumas. But forcing a 7-year-old to eat something repulsive can scar them for life. And it doesn't matter if you make jokes and go, oh, ha, 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 you need a safe space, blah, 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 blah. It can actually scar a kid for life. Okay, I am not a member of the Clean Plate Club. I think that is child abuse. And I always have somebody say, well, what if they won't eat? Then there's a reason. Okay? Time after time after time after time, studies show that children who refuse to eat food have a reason. They're not refusing to eat what you cooked for dinner because they're little shitheads the way you claim, okay? Can't tell it's a sore spot, can you? So I just threw some pie spice and some brown sugar into that squash. We eat a lot of squash. Squash, sweet potatoes, any of the orange vegetables, the vitamin A vegetables. I thought I had some butter at room temperature, and it looks like somebody... Aha! I found it. It's behind the vinegar instead of in front of the vinegar. Okay, this is a sore spot. You have the recipe and it says, bring the butter to room temperature and then mix it together easily. Okay, what room are they in? Okay, do you see this? I'm pushing as hard as I can. I'm bending the frickin' fork, okay? That's how cold it is in here. Okay? Your room temperature and my room temperature are not the same thing. The recipe should say bring the butter to 72 degrees. Because 72 degrees is where butter gets softer. Not room temperature. My trick is I just turn the oven on, and the one burner on any stove vents the oven heat. So I'm going to put this with the butter buried down lower on that burner, and the oven heat is going to warm it up until the butter melts easily. How's that for smart? Because I do that kind of shit all the time. I was dyeing some fiber earlier. Yesterday. Hold on. Okay. That still needs to get rinsed out, but other than that, it's clean. It's just vinegar water. This is what I dyed. That green yarn I was showing you. Oops, hold on. Squeeze out the drippies. That's what I got by using all of the Kool-Aid left in a failed art project. It's pretty. I do them in 25-yard hanks because that's about what it takes to do a basic granny square. And I dye the 25-yard hanks instead of full skeins because I'm flat ass broke and a full skein is $12. And I can get about 20 of the little hanks. And it allows me to play with dyeing without the expense. I mean, I would love to have a couple $100 worth of bare yarn from Dharma Trading Companies or Knit Picks, you know? That would allow me to dye stuff. It really would. Anyway, what do you want for dinner? The easiest thing I find is to always be 2 meals or 3 meals ahead. If you've already prepped the squash Okay, now I need an entree that goes with squash. If you've already set it up, then there's no question about what's for dinner because you already set it up. This is what's for dinner. That works really, really well for me. And then there's the times when you fall behind. The biggest issue we have is I get sick. My gut is a problem, and I'm peeling these little garlics that I was going to eat the other day, never got eaten. So I'm going to peel them, put them in here with just a little bit of water on the bottom, close the lid like it's a greenhouse, and put it in the window. And about a week from now, I'm going to have garlic shoots that I'm going to chop up and put in stir fry. Because once you've taken a clove off of the bulb, off of the head, they go stale. And if you're not a super taster, you probably don't notice, don't worry about it. But I am a super taster, and they go stale after 3 to 4 days. So they were too small to grow for future growth, but they're just fine for microgreens. So I'm setting those up. The hubby's been asking for stir fry. That's been his default thing. Every time I mention, what do you want for dinner? Well, we could do a stir fry. I'm having gut problems. I don't think I'm digesting right now. And until I take a nice healthy shit, I really don't want that much fiber going through. No stir fry. Okay. I can make quesadillas. I don't want that much bulk fiber. Can we do something that's not bulk fiber? I'll tell you what, why don't you eat what you want and I'll eat what I want? Okay. That's been our last couple of days. It causes problems. So the squash, even though it has fiber, isn't bulk fiber. I can process it. Getting the paper off of garlic is very, very hard, and I can't concentrate and do it at the same time, so I need to quit trying. Hi. It's been 12 minutes. The hubby constantly expresses that he really likes the shorter videos. I don't care. I like a video to be the length of time a video should be. You know, when I run out of things to talk about, I run out of things to talk about. Anyway, what do you want for dinner? Do you meal prep? Do you use convenience foods? I am best with as little processing as possible because then things can't sneak in and attack me. See, okay, this butter is already starting to melt a little. Just on the passive heat from that burner. So 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Anyway, when I take my lunch out, I'll put the whole pot into the oven to finish the melting, and turn the oven off and finish the melting. We work on it. We try. We've been together over 30 years, and it's a conflict. And if you're newly starting out and it's a conflict, don't let society tell you that there's something wrong. It's a normal part of relationships. My usual thing is if I ask you what you want, I'm asking you what cuisine and what protein. I'm not asking you to tell me a specific meal, although if you have a specific meal and we have the ingredients and it doesn't take 17 hours to prep, then we can cook it. But when you ask what do you want for dinner, you have to consider how much time do you have to prepare. I mean, if it's 6:30 at night and you're both tired, there's no way in hell somebody should say they want something that takes a long prep. If it's 6:30 at night and you're both tired, there's no way somebody should say something like baked potatoes that take an hour and a half to cook. Now, when do you want to eat dinner becomes part of that question. Oh, I don't know. Are you talking about eating right now, or are you talking about eating 2 hours from now? 2 hours from now. Okay, well in that case, then I want baked potatoes or potato au gratin, or hell, you can pull out the pressure cooker and cook beans in 2 hours. Okay. If you want to eat in the next 30 minutes, what do you want for dinner becomes, what do you want me to heat up? well, what's available. Am I making sense? Because I feel like I'm just like grumbling. Anyway, it's been 15 minutes. That beeping was telling me that my lunch is done. I will talk to you later.